you were in accounting directly when you came.
Yes.
Yeah, you came, you hated that.
Yeah.
And then where was the transition?
Well, I hated that. Then I was actually working for a hospitality industry, and I was actually a bartender, in one of the busiest pub in this, Sydney CBD. And I was making cocktails and drinks and stuff like that. And I think, that's where I learned that the skill of being people person. I started talking with different people, and that's why I always encourage all these young people coming to Australia is go and get yourself a job that where you need to talk, you're forced to talk with the people, you're forced to make them laugh, you're forced to understand the slangs, and being in a bar also gives you privilege of understanding real Australian culture. For example, like sports events, the Australia is one of the country that we follow sports, there's rugby, there is a footy, there's a tennis, and there is many things that Australia follows, like cricket and soccer and everything like that. So I think, to be able to meet all these different people while I was working in hospitality industry has actually given me that real opportunity to be able to understand, what is Australian communities all about, and also be able to divest myself into different areas of interest, and which means effectively in a future you can connect and talk with any person because certain sports, and certain drinks, certain music, and I think bar and hospitality is a great way to start your journey in Australia because it really exposes you to many sectors. And I think the transition was I feel like I'm better suited with the hospitality industry, so I did my hospitality degree after that. So believe it or not, and I think that was the big shift for me from a science background to accounting to hospitality. And then after hospitality, I started doing migration law. And after migration law, I went to Sydney University and did my law degree, which I'm extremely proud of. And after that, I'm currently in Monash University studying digital law right now, and that's out of norm. That's my hobby. And I think Monash being one of the best one globally. They're the only ones facilitating this digital law. And I'm a proud student of Sydney University and a proud student of Monash University. So that's how the transition started.
Hey guys, this is Eve Rabasha here at the Just Co offices, made for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. You see, we're living in the greatest time to be alive, where you can use the power of social media, where you can get your voice out there, your brand. How can you put yourself in the front position? How can you use and utilize a media network to be able to build your brand? That is the mistake so many people make. They don't know how to build brand. They don't know how to use their voice and the art of communication to storytell. We have that platform, the Rabasha Family Podcast, made for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs, where you could utilize the power of social media to get your voice out there. You're gonna either do two things. You're gonna keep scrolling, or you're gonna take action and create history with the revolutionists. You have one choice. Don't be like the 98%. Take action now. You know why that's fascinating? Because a lot of people, and I believe it's what makes you different to everyone else, is a lot of people in your industry, you stay in that box, you stay in that lane, but you now being able to work in a bar, having that humble background and able to learn, okay, if I'm serving these people are coming in, they want to have a good time, I'm serving them, but in serving them, I'm able to communicate, and
100%.
It's what's brought you here today.
Yeah. And also, when you, as I keep saying to any young entrepreneurs or anyone who would like to do different things, don't worry about whether or not you're going to be good, or don't worry about whether or not you should start. Don't worry about thinking that you don't know how to do things. And I keep saying the best way to learn how to swim is throw yourself in the deeper end, because you have to get out of the deeper end by moving your arms and know how to swim. So and that's what happened. A majority of the people from non-English background from different country, they're very skeptical to go and join themselves in a busy bar or pub where there's a lot of Anglo Asians are working, and they're making fun of you or anything like that. Yes, it might be a little bit awkward for you to get your hands dirty or maybe experience that in the beginning, but once you get the hang of it, you have to learn. It's almost like a swimming, isn't it? You started swimming, and then you started learning all of this, and soon you started becoming friend with all that people that used to kind of bully you, or maybe just even make fun of you. That slowly you started adapting the culture, and then you pick up their friends. So next chapter from there is you only evolving yourself, because now you know the foundation of how, like a survival kit of Australia. Then what you do is you just build on top, you know what I mean? And that's how you should be doing.
Wow, I think that's great advice, especially for people who not only want to come to Australia, but when it comes to entrepreneurship and diving into your dreams,
100%
desire, you know, because a lot of times we try to have everything figured out.
Yeah.
But no, like you said, dive into it.
100%. And as you've heard, you hear all the time as motivational speakers or anyone who keeps saying, there are only very few people, 90% of the people only think about what they want to do, only 10% actually go and execute it. And even out of the 10% who's going to go and execute it, 90% is going to fail, which means there's only 10% of that 10% who's going to potentially going to make it. But then I guess the journey is not about success or failure. I guess the journey is more about learning. So what did you learn in that first attempt is the gold mine, because whenever you do the second business, whenever you do the second project, you're not starting from the zero, because now you're starting with experience.
You've acquired that
Yes.
knowledge and information.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, so let's fast forward it. And this is why I wanted to do this, because this is fascinating, to get in behind of what you went through, because like you said, there's very few people who are able to get something from their imagination and bring it out to reality. You're a visionary and you've acted on that and being able to serve people. So let's talk about when you went into the corporate, because I want to get into the entrepreneurship field.
Sure.
And then we can transition it off. But yeah, so what happened after the bar? And
Oh yeah, okay. So since working in a bar it comes with the perks as well. And the perks is you have to work at nights, and then while everyone is sleeping, you're the ones actually working. And when you are not working, everyone else is sleeping. So basically, it works in a different time zone. So it kind of created some complications with my relationship with my wife, because I'll be coming home from graveyard shift, which is working all nighters, finishing 4 o'clock in the morning. By the time you're home, about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, when my family's having breakfast, I'm the ones having dinner. And then by the time they're ready to start their day, I'm ready to go to the bed. So really that transition, of course, there was a good part of working in the hospitality industry. I learned all this good stuff. But then in the high-end side, there was other adversarial disadvantage was I'm actually disconnected with the world or my family. You know what I mean? So I guess I think it was a phase of my life that I potentially would not enjoy. Being in a pub with a loud music with all these youngsters jumping around. I think that was the turning off moment for me from the hospitality, because I think I've gained it all. I've sort of squeezed everything out of the hospitality industry. So I got to move on. And that's when I met my friend who was working for this corporate environment in a contact center. And I started my job, and I did not, hesitate to start fresh from the beginning, and started my career as a contact center person. So I was, picking up calls for these people, and soon, I think in 3 to 4 months' time, I moved my way up to become a contact center manager, and then soon after that, become an operation manager. Soon after that, I become a project operation manager, and soon after that, I worked in a product team. And that was the last position that I hold as a corporate person.
You have that gift, you have that talent, and that gift and talent needs to be seen. It needs to be heard. Your downfalls, your amazing moments, your business needs to reach more people. That is what we do here at the Rabasha Family Podcast. So for a select few, we can have you as a guest on our show. For me as the host to ask you questions about what you do. This is a skill, creating this content, being able to film, produce it. It is a valuable skill that we have learned, and we want to utilize that to help as many people as possible. So you'd have me as your host, ask you questions, get to know you and your business and how to build up your personal brand. We're then able to market and repurpose content from the podcast on all platforms, including your network. So if you really want to be in touch, if you want to be a guest on our show and be able to use marketing material from this valuable podcast, from your valuable story out to more people, we have that available.
So just real quick, how old were you with the bar job?
I started quite early, like probably about 20, on my early 20s, and I worked until about 25, 26.
25, 25.
Yeah.
Okay. And you go over to this call center. Was it sales?
Yeah, it wasn't sales. It was more of an inbound, like an outbound. It was actually, you can say it's a sales. It was more of it's a membership organization, and we used to call our members to let them know that they're due for renewals, and we used to just ask them to make a payment. And it was a big Australian brand, and so people had a lot of trust. So it wasn't too hard to obtain the renewal fees, but it's more of a fact that you have to be able to sell as well, like, you know, because some people would like to just terminate, or, you know, they don't want to renew the membership. But my job was to make sure that they renew the membership and they get the value out of the service. But soon I become the contact center manager, and then move my way up to project implementation, project manager, and then product team.
So yeah, warm leads. What made you get so many promotions?
I guess I was already built with the people skills, right? So I can talk with anyone. You give me like I can sell ice to the Eskimo, if you want to put it that way. So and they whenever I used to call the member, you know, basically I'm representing myself over the phone. They don't know me, they haven't seen me, so basically it's all over the phone. So what tends to happen is I was talking to them, and they used to call me a guy with a silver tongue. So what they used to say is, how can I say no to someone like you? So I guess I sort of incorporated whatever I've learned from the past work and just isolated that particular skills and implemented in the new work environment, and that worked for me.
But how? Well, like what would you do when you speak to them on the phone that would hook them in?
I think in terms of people, in terms of understanding people, it's more about being able to connect and the empathy, and also active listening. Because the thing is, if you're not listening to them, and if you're the only one talking about your stuff, people never gonna be connected. And if you want it to be connected, you gotta listen. And as the wise people say, when you talk, you only talk what you know. But when you listen, you learn more stuff in life. So when you listen, then you can actually understand the people in a better ways, and then you can actually connect with them. And when you connect with them, when you know their pain point, you talk about their pain point, and you try to sell this stuff, which will take the pain to the pleasure.
Wow.
If you really enjoyed this video, make sure to click here, and I'm sure you're gonna love that one.